race 3, the P flag was up. Some of us are learning a big lesson. We cannot get down current and down speed. These guys are gonna port tack the fleet by a mile. Hopefully it's a general recall, because we have 2 boats that are not making the start. Because remember, I just showed you the current on the buoy. You guys definitely didn't know this, but the current's going 1.5 to 2 boat lengths a minute. It's not very much, but it's going down the course. So if you wait for 8 minutes times 2, and the wind's blowing you as you're luffing, you're going 10 extra boat lengths beyond just what the wind blows you. Oh wow, that start just happened. Should be coming into more breeze here in race 3. One thing you have to remember about sports is while you're racing the first couple races, you should be getting warmed up and like getting a rhythm and kind of getting organized. And a lot of kids got caught at the wrong end of the line. But watch 9306 here. They just got a second in that race, and they are to leeward of a very good team. And she on port tack, that's where it's at. Oh wow, she's gonna get rolled here. Just as I said that. But just up until that moment, she was just going so fast next to another boat. And she just got schooled by a top 5 team in the country. That's all. But this port tack is the apparent wind is shifting to leeward every time you get to the top of the swell. So let's watch 891 for you. In the trough right now, the boat's gonna feel good. And as the boat lifts up, the jib is gonna luff. And that's because the swell is launching you sideways. So here I have a swell coming at me right here. I'm in the trough now, it's gonna feel good. And then as I go up this swell here, it's gonna launch me to my right at a certain speed. Let's say that's 4 knots. So it's gonna decrease the apparent wind at that moment, and it's gonna create a little bit of wind. That wind is gonna hit you from the leeward side, makes your jib lock. And if you're a skipper who's chasing your tail back and forth, you've got to find a balance. That's the hard part. But that guy started the pin out there, and that's the gap. It looks like it's a 25 boat length gap, but it's probably more like a 12 to 15 boat length gap, just by being at the favored end. Race 3, we actually have people trapping here. The wind has come up nice. So those boats that started to the left, you know, they kind of lucked out because the wind came in from the left too, and the right collapsed. This Point Loma spot here is a tough spot, and it's proving to be that every race a different thing works. There's no specific trend. On the one hand, that's very good for you because you got to learn how to see this stuff happening, and it gets your head out of the boat. It's a wake-up call. But we do need to stay up current, upwind between races, and we do need to be better in the 3rd race at sailing than we are in the 1st. I mean, we should be warmed up by race 3. We shouldn't do things that show that maybe we're a little tired or distracted or something. Race 3, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th here for Harris City's Edge. Rough races just because it's crazy out here. Oh no, this is low-key. Great. So what we did is we made major changes to these guys. It probably did not make a difference. What made a difference is they probably got to the left and got more wind, but we raked them further forward. We told them to ease their bank downwind, which they still looks too tight, but what else did we change? Centerboard up downwind. What else did we change? Heeling to leeward a tiny bit. Okay, here's, yeah, this is Harrison here. And 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's a good improvement. The Regatta is only 3 races old, so we still got a lot more races. 5 or 6 more. Pirellis are in about 19. Here's Paige and Kristen, 8319, 9319. Second place looks the best here. So you got them playing the main. Starboard tack is very hard. Port tack is easy. The boat's heeled to leeward a little and the spinnaker is just rock solid. There you go. Okay, now let's look at Loki and Zach here. Bang looks too tight. They could sit forward and they could heel to leeward more. Spinnaker looks pretty good. Little tiny more heel to leeward. Okay, a little late on the rotation. Now starboard's much harder because you're cross swell. So every time the swell launches you, the sail is gonna kind of get thrown into the boat. And it just feels horrible. So you heel to leeward a little bit and try not to go too high. Gotta be careful yanking the pole around when it's light and swells. We're down to the lightest part of the day. Here's Harrison. He's in 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Overlap for 9th and 10th. Starboard is gonna be really hard because you're getting, here's a swell right here. It's gonna lift me up, and as it launches me sideways, it creates wind from the leeward side. So you gotta try to be on port. Watch these guys. Their spinnakers are gonna be solid. Way better. Look at these guys. Way easier. On port, you're with the swell, so all you're doing is playing the guy in the sheet. Here, you're just praying when you're on starboard. Wow, gain of 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Loki and Zach gained on Tom. Okay, so that's the theme of race 3 is downwind. And on the reaches, the swell is big impact. (9308) took their spinnaker down, going to the reach to the finish. The wind does not look like it's building. So I think he's happy, he's okay, he can totally protect third. And he's looking upwind for a time where he might be able to reset. Okay, there's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. And these guys look pretty good. He's doing a good job of this. When you're on a reach, you've got to try to get the sheet out to at least a little curl almost all the time like he's doing. Otherwise, the leash hooks into the main and you over-trim the main because it lumps. They're in a tough pot. They're in the bad air fog. And then we'll see how this works out. It looks like 9308's a little slower than 6627 without a spinnaker. Here they go. Get the pole ready. He's putting the pole on the left side guy. The spinnaker's to windward right now. Then he's just going to turn down, hoist, and rip the right sheet in. And shove the pole out. Okay, he's got the spinnaker in his hand. It looks like he's going to probably throw it a little bit. Yeah, there they go. Down, hoist, pull the right sheet. Go. So he had nothing to lose. He's not going to lose third. Kevin and Holland, 9307. I think they're second. Getting ready for race 4, and the thing I learned is we have all these goals. But going into the regatta, we talk about all these things. We want to get our pre-race routine worked out. We want to do this, figure out that, figure out this, and then you sail in a venue where you really, you know, it's a combination of trying to anticipate where's there more wind, what is the shift going to be, and then a little bit of luck and circumstance. So you have to try to salvage points. We don't know what's going to happen. Right now it's 8-9 knots. The wind just filled in. There were times during the last race where they got down to 3 or 4 knots and up to, well, there's people trapping. So on those days, what you have to do now that we've done 3 races, now you have to decide, am I going to take a lot of risk or not a lot of risk? If, you know, if you've got 3 top 19 finishes, I mean, you're out of the top 15, you need to take more risks. So you got to know which end's favored. I'm looking at 8, 6, 5, 1 there. Pin end is favored by a little bit. So I would start a third of the way from the pin. And the wind looks strong on the left. The last race, the wind died on the right. And so this is really, really good learning, because this is what's going to prepare you for the future. You don't want it so easy that you just come out and go through the motions. And again, we have to throw all of our goals out the window right now. What we got to do now is try to start beating 5, 6, 7 more boats for some of us. And just kill it. Coming up on race 4, it's about 8 to 10. Now you have good sailors at the pin, and you have good sailors. 8914's been in the top 3 a couple times. You know, you've got some at the pin, some at the boat. So what that means is nobody really knows what's going to happen. And I would be starting a third of the way from the pin with as close to the windward boats of me as I could, so that if I need to tack, I can maybe pinch those guys off. I don't want to start with a big gap to windward of me. Yep, there's the 9306 accelerating right there. No, that's 9305. That's Anton. See, he's a third of the way from the pin, ripping it. That was just a beautiful start. Individual recall. Whoa, he got called? Yeah, he got called. Wow. These guys can sit forward. Yeah, see, he's a big skipper. And I think you keep the boat heeled to leeward a fraction in these swells. See how the side swell, so see how the boat wants to. Yep, tiny bit of heel to leeward and then lean on it. I would have just the crew hiking right now. I'd have the skipper sitting up and just the crew hiking. That's better. A little more windward sheet. You got to see the clue of the jib coming into the tank a little more. Just a little more windward sheet. The weird thing about a Club 420 is the jib is at like 8 degrees off center line or more, I don't know what it is, and the main is like 2 or 3 degrees off center line. So the two sails sail at a different angle to the wind. So your jib will be luffing a lot and your main sail will be perfect. And so it's a strange boat. You've got to use windward sheet when you got to get that lead further in. It is just a beautiful. Got some different numbers up here. Here's Kevin and Holland, top 10, I think. Here's Anton and Wyatt trying to battle back up the middle here. I thought their start was just perfect, but they just, no risk, no reward, I guess. Beautiful, race 4. Don't know what the course is. Yeah, to be totally honest, the only way you get good at this is coming out here and doing it 3-4 days in a row, 3 days in a row. It's died now to 4 knots, 5 knots, and look at the swells are now pushing them look at the boats, just their mass and just underpowered. So the swells are pushing them forward on port tack right now. So this is just crazy. Starboard is so much easier to sail right now. And I think the Borellis could be top 4 again, top 3 again. Wondering what the course is. This has to be the last race if they're doing a course 2. Loki and Zach doing well. They actually have more wind out here starting right now. This side's starting to get a little more pressure. Loki just got it there. Port tack is just miserable right now. Starboard is much easier. Okay, race 4 coming into the first windward. Look at them, they're headed for East Los Angeles, man. This is crazy hard sailing. Just because the apparent wind is shifting all over the place with the swells. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Yeah, so the Borellis are 2, 4, 6, 7. Loki and Zach are 8, kind of getting rolled a little. This is course 2, I believe. Well, maybe not. Oh no, it is course 2. So this is the long one, believe it or not, with the wind dropped. Hopefully we see it come back up. The Borellis were extremely fast here, downwind last time, and they have a better lane this time than they had last time. Yeah, Loki had no choice. Good rotation, maybe a little over rotated. Got to come out of your jibes now reaching. You come out of these light air jibes above a broad reach a tiny bit. And then it squirt forward and then soak down slow. Okay. Spinnakers are hard to fly, so the poles should not be too high. Those are plenty high. See how much the mainsails luff downwind, and you know, I don't think it matters if they luff a little bit, but you're trying to pull that luff out of there most of the time. The wind has picked up to 8 knots, so starboard is not that hard anymore because you're not as pointing as high. You don't have to reach as high. The Borellis bailed out of there at a great time. And they also did a really good job of jibing when the boat behind wasn't really watching. Like, they just hand the sheet to the skipper, turn, the crew pulls the boom across, and you know, and they reach a little bit and just get out of there. And then port tack should be getting launched forward. Yeah. As you get launched forward, you got to ease the guide, pull the sheet. Beautiful. 8 to 10 knots. This is when you start sailing much flatter, so you can keep the helm neutral. Jib is very loose. And swells are really not, that looked like he caught a swell right there and probably should have trimmed the sheet sooner, but yeah, this is, yeah, they've got a little bit of a trailing swell. So that means you got to be playing the guide and the sheet. As you surge forward, ease the guide, pull the sheet a little, and as you slow down, square it up. Here we go, roll jibe, the spinnaker right there. Now they go through the gate on this windward leeward, and then they reach to the finish line right here. And that does look like a pretty easy reach, actually. So this ought to be fun. Oops. Yeah, you got to remember, you got to go back through the gate. do their penalty turn here. They're just going to drop the kite. What happened to our girls in 9306? Oh, here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, they must have had a rough upwind. It's amazing that Anton's right back here in 9308 after being over early. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Olympia's going to go for the drop. She's going to go for the drop. I think it's a good idea. Should have taken it down on the starboard side to start.
Coaches, racing me. We'll be doing one more race today.
Okay, it looks nice. We're in a little bit of a hole right now, but I think this is trapping conditions. And the coolest thing here is this boat Bessemer's anchored, so this is your line sight. Okay, so you're gonna see the guy, you're gonna see him inside, yep, standing right there with the blue shirt, and you're sighting him. He is lined up just on the windward edge of the line. And Pin is definitely favored by a little bit. Not much, but I just watched a guy go off the line on port tack, and it was pretty darn good angle. Oh, wow. Okay. You say general recall here. Unless the kids want to go in. This is the last race starting at close to 4 o'clock, so we're getting in at 5:30 tonight. Pretty long day. Yep. So he's sitting just upwind of the line. But the actual line sight is the guy calling the line. Yeah, this is going to be a recall. Race 5. Tomorrow's supposed to be lighter. That's why they're doing this. That's why they're doing a 5th race. Okay, cut. A jib killer. We're talking about towing home in this. This is like choppy 12 to 14, 15 knots actually, windiest part of the day. We got a U flag coming up on 50 seconds. I think they got it. Harrison going for the pin. Harrison did it. I think one, you know, again, these guys, this is their first regatta together, and you know, they didn't have their windward sheet on enough. So you got to remember, an FJ has the jib lead inside the tank, and a 420 has it way out on the edge of the tank. So you got to have enough windward sheet on it. Here we go. See, Anton's just waiting, because if he tacks, it's too big of a duck. So he's just waiting to where he only ducks the front row, or the second row max. So you get people yelling at you, don't sail in bad air, but if he tacks, he's ducking 1, 2, 3 boats, going backwards. Here they go, slow tack. and see how he does here. I think he's all right. He is ducking 3 boats. He's only ducking the second row. So there we go. That is beautiful. Again, the swells will shift the wind on you, so every time you bear away from the wind, you're turning away from the next puff. Look at that. Look at that. That is just beautiful. And then here's the girls with a little too much twist. Oh, they're having a duck. A little too much twist. More bang would be good right here. Okay, well, I'm proud of them. Plenty of wind. We got Anton in 4th, Harrison in 3rd, Anton in 5th. They're going windward. They're going leeward, windward, finish downwind, and then we've got a slog home. Hopefully the wind dies off here a little, but I'm not sure what we're going to do. There's Kevin and Holland, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Black and white kite in here. Well, pretty special time right now. This is just beautiful. 12 to 14. Maybe 15 in the puffs. The knuckle of the bow's out of the water a little. The bang is snug, no overbend wrinkles, so it's not smoked. And now you just lean on it. You just sail the boat perfectly flat. That other guy was. Just letting it out a little bit more and then pulling in that. And these guys are a little smaller than the team we were just watching. Flat. Really not playing the main at all. Actually looking forward to playing it right now. Last windward. These are really good teams here. These teams have been doing this a long time. 11. They were nice right there. Loki and Zach coming around here. This is the best Perry performances they've had. This might be their second Perry regatta. And a big improvement over the first one already. We've practiced a lot. We got their rig set up right. They're starting to sail the boat better.